Horizon 2020 project, but it's not that exactly.
Ruritage is an opportunity. Mainly, it's an opportunity to share knowledge and to get knowledge from others.
It is how to use the heritage for rural regeneration.
Ruritage is a fantastic idea, and it creates a focus for rural.
Let's go back to Lesbos 2015. Lesbos was in all media, all around the world, with pictures showing their very beautiful beaches, full with rubber boats, with migrants, with life jackets lying on the beach. That was a huge wave of migration coming to Lesbos and then wanting to go to the rest of Europe. It was a huge pressure to the island. A lot of people rushed to help, providing food, providing clothes, providing shelter. The thing is, was that enough? For us, in our opinion, we think not. It was not enough. They needed also a psychological relief. And this is where the geopark came, to release their pressure by involving them and organizing for them activities. Now they know the place. They loved the place, and some of them, several of them, wanted also to stay in this place.
In UNESCO, we're working in the conventional way with heritage. A lot of thematic is about protection, conservation, but in Ruritage it's another angle, working with local heritage and all the varieties of local heritage and the use of this heritage. So we're not talking about, conventional building, World Heritage sites, tangible heritage, but a lot of intangible heritage, again, traditions, storytelling.
Heritage, for sure, it's huge in main things. It's a brand, it could be a brand, but also it's a paradigm of rural regeneration. Rural regeneration is something that you make it happen, then people will understand. If you want to communicate, it doesn't get to the point. With Ruritage, we try to get to the point, try to make things happen.
Ruritage for me is a combination of scientific approaches or scientifically developed approaches and collected lessons learned and experiences. So it has both the science, the theory and the practices which can be used in rural areas to regenerate them in a way that will get the best out of what is possible.
Rural development is very much an issue that I have been working on for a number of years. So the concept of Ruritage itself, like regenerating the rural areas by using cultural heritage, that fitted well into what we were already doing. So yeah, regional development, sort of innovation projects and so forth, we've been dealing with that. But then this focus on the cultural aspect is a welcome addition to our work.
Ruritage has created a very huge network, not only in terms of quantity, but especially in terms of quality.
I've worked in rural Somerset for over 30 years, and it's not typical for rural to be given the kind of platform and the profile that a project like this offers, certainly within a European context. And being a part of Ruritage gives gravity to the work that Take Art does, because we're part of a project involving 38 partners in so many different countries. We're connected to a much bigger world, a much bigger picture, and I believe that allows us to have a little bit more influence, that people will listen more carefully.
People should be aware about the Ruritage activities and approach, because should be aware about the relevance of the cultural and natural heritage as a great leverage for local development.
I think it's important to share this knowledge and because I think, or I feel that they really have impact in the territories, so that's why I believe it's important to communicate, so people can replicate it in other projects and can make also amazing things as the ones that are being done here.
Regeneration, you assume that you are beginning in a disadvantaged position. But I would like to propose another way of thinking, is that you are in a position that you can rewrite again, you can rethink on that again. It's not about regenerate what was damaged, but to regenerate again, building ideas with the ideas of others, and trying to bring all together in your own way of thinking.
When you think about heritage and how to take some kind of benefit or advantage from the heritage, people usually think about the tourism, but this Ruritage project goes far beyond that.
Heritage in the sense that it's something past and not active, and regeneration in the sense that you are making the heritage active actor of development of your territory.
Regeneration is co-natural, cohabitation, living in the nature, somehow to be responsible to the nature, to be responsible to the populations of the rural society or the rural community, and also to be for us, or let's say try to regenerate the region and the castle of Negova. We are always thinking about how to make it not only sustainable, but how to make it responsible with their local community.
In Turkey's cities, we have big pressures for urbanization, including our Ruritage areas. Also, plus we have unemployment and depopulation and mineral problems. If we achieve regeneration for the rural areas through our Ruritage project, we will be a geopark, so we can stop that kind of pressures.
In many countries, there's the depopulation is a serious issue, and the country life is not attractive anymore, and people are moving to cities. Ruritage may help to enhance the attractiveness.
It's giving an opportunity to rural area to become more attractive for people, bringing them back into the area, maybe just for an hour or maybe for longer, giving them an understanding that rural areas are also very attractive and have an enormous potential to accommodate a lot of interests.
So regeneration, from my original understanding, I would say it's building up again. But also, if you put a historical emphasis on it, I think there's need and chances to regenerate from phase to phase, from generation to generation. So it's an active process. It's not artificially created or artificially put up, but it's to engage with people and to keep something alive and alive and alive and alive.
Well, in Iceland, maybe it's a bit different from continental Europe and Southern Europe. We don't have many old buildings, so it's the heritage, the traditions that we focus on, how people relate to the environment. So what has happened in short in Cattle Geopark, that this downward steady trend has changed dramatically to an upward trend. So now there are more people living in the geopark. Half of the population are foreigners living now in Cattle Geopark and working. We have a sort of new society, a blend of locals with a lot of foreign input.
I think after the COVID, that changed a little bit the paradigm in which we live.
People appreciate the nature and the culture and the countryside and more, and maybe get back to your roots. I think that's a trend, and I think that we can make this trend even stronger.
I believe that the connection between the rural areas and urban areas should exist in a more connected way. At least I always feel that the rural areas are forgotten a bit. Maybe this link should be strengthened.
People who are living in city center especially, they don't feel any rural feelings, let's say. How can I explain these feelings? But there are huge difference between city center and rural atmosphere. Because in Izmir there is huge urbanization pressures. When you go to Parliament, there is a kind of different country. So we try to connect this atmosphere.
I think the future is in the rural area, but we need to find the right tools as those that we're developing in Ruritage to achieve.
We applicate our knowledge in Ruritage. We try to transfer the expertise and our knowledge to the replicators.
Our purpose was to give the people that work with Ruritage in each territory as replicators to have great knowledge of the principal skills it's necessary to have.
Rural areas have been always the heart of our societies. It's true that now big cities are the main pole of attraction of investment and life and so on, but the main support, the core support comes from rural areas, and also rural areas are a container of knowledge, so we have to refocus on those areas. We have to rethink in our territory, we have to structure our territory.
I've really enjoyed the cross-discipline nature of the project. Quite often you work in silos. So a lot of our projects we work with other arts organisations, with artists, and for me it's been really stimulating to be working with people working in pilgrimage, with trails, with geoparks and with local foods. So for me this has expanded my thinking, and I think that the mix of partners with universities, with knowledge providers, working with grassroots organisations, again helps to bring a kind of a gravity to the project.
It's very useful to know more people, and we hope will be other projects.
I think we got a great attention to the project and a lot of interest. And also through our activities on Ruritage outside of Europe, we see the interest, and we see that there, in the different cultural landscape, there is an interest for Ruritage as methodologies, and with their own diversity, still we have a common understanding of importance of the use of heritage.
Ruritage soy yo.
Ruritage sono io.
Ruritage soy yo.
Ruritage tafu mai.
Το Ruritage είμαι εγώ.
Ruritage ben.
Ja sam Ruritage.
I am Ruritage.
Jaj, Ruritage vagyok.
Wir sind Ruritage.
Wir sind Ruritage.
我是 Ruritage.
Jag är Ruritage.
Я это Ruritage.
Yo soy Ruritage.